I don't know if y'all heard about this. There was a Dunkin' Donut worker that he got 2 years of house arrest.
Uh-huh.
And can you guess why he got house arrest? Anybody?
Did he add a little more cream filling to the donut?
Oh, you would be nasty. You're nasty, man.
That's what you want to go.
I didn't. I mean,
nasty man.
It's
Michael
nasty.
Joe.
Yeah,
Michael Joe,
true.
the freak boy.
Yeah,
little freak boy. No, he killed a man.
Oh shit.
That's what he did.
He's black and he got 2 years house arrest for killing somebody.
Yeah, this is not funny, guys, but it is funny. But I'm gonna go ahead and read this story for you guys. A black restaurant worker who punched an elderly white man who later died over a racial slur has been sentenced to 2 years of house arrest. Corey Pajolos, I don't know how to say his last name, 27, used to deal with prosecutors in Tampa, Florida.
Shut the front door.
Hey, welcome to Tampa, goddammit.
Yep, and pleaded guilty to felony battery, potentially avoiding decades in jail for causing the death of Vanell Cook, 77. So I guess what happened was he was calling him a nigga, and he wasn't with that. And he knocked him out, hit his head, night. That's it.
It's touchy, but I have to say this part first. I've always said that we can't. We're taught that things are just words, right? They're just words. And I say this as a black man, you have to be smart enough to understand that a lot of times people will say things to get a rise out of you to get you to react. Like this could have been so much worse than what it is. I mean, it's still bad. Somebody died. I mean, the man shouldn't have called him nigga, but at the same time, bro, imagine if you'd have punched this man, then somebody else white would have shot him, said I was defending this man. Imagine if he would have got more than just 2 years of house arrest. You have to be able to control yourself. I think for a very long time, you have to understand that people will do things to provoke you and get you to get yourself in trouble. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to be the one to get in more trouble. But it's like, now that, I get it. And then this is an older dude. I'm looking at the picture. He looked like he was about 70.
He's 77.
He white, so he could have been 25.
Oh God! Okay. So Lee go from peddling kids.
Hey, all jokes aside, man. As it was reported, the store employees described Cook as a regular customer who was regularly troublesome and abusive. So he went to go order coffee. I guess they couldn't hear him. He parked his car, came into the store. Proceeded to, be rude and use a racial slur. The young man in question told him not to use the racial slur and told him to leave. He used it again, and then that's when the young man hit him in the jaw. He knocked him down. He hit his head, and that's why he initially was facing manslaughter charges, which carries up to 30 years and 200 hours of community service.
And that's what I'm saying, man. It's hard because even I got little boys, and I mean, they say freedom of speech. I don't condone it. You shouldn't be out here calling people racial slurs, but you have to take power and control of that situation and be able to maneuver. And even for me, I can only imagine if somebody was calling my kid a racial slur, you know what I'm saying? Right. But in that moment, I can't react and punch this man and now put my children in a precarious situation. You know
what I think about words? They matter, but they only matter if you want them to matter. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of times I've been in situations where I could have reacted and I chose not to, but that comes with the level of self-control and the level of maturity and even like you just being even keeled. And what you said about your boys too, we have to teach these young men not to react to these things, but also teach them in the same sense that, hey, the world is an ugly place. So it is tough. It is difficult, especially when you don't have that temperament. And then you never know what type of day somebody's having on top of that, bro. Like, it could just be a combination of things adding up. And next thing you know, you pop off and now this is the result. And that man lost his life. This man is going to get 2 years of house arrest. And he also has to deal with the fact that he didn't probably meant to kill this dude because he went to the hospital and he passed away 3 days later. You know what I'm saying? Right. But he's got to live with that now, all because of actions.
I was just surprised that I ain't gonna lie. I was surprised he only got 2 and house arrest. Yeah, I'm not even going to front about that. This is a situation to where I'm a little behooved that the justice system lean that direction. And tag team in what you're saying, yes, you'd have no idea what a person they going through. But and then with Lee, yes, practicing that temperament. I am a certified nursing assistant. I work in nursing homes. So majority of the time, you see this black face working with your papa and your Gigi. 99% of the time, there's not that many black elderly people in there. It's majority white. And if I had a nickel for every time I go in there to help, I'm going to say this again, help and assist your grandma and your papa and Gigi or whoever, I have been called fat nigga, you big bastard, you big blackie, all these things. And unfortunately, as a professional, that's their right, their freedom of speech, and I still have to take care of these people to a degree.
Have you ever when they when they called you that, you ever like is really like, hey you nigga, as soon as they went to go open their mouth, you spit in it?
Oh
wow. Jesus. Wow.
You trying to get this man credentials full.
Right. No, but seriously though, I mean, what goes through a person's mind though, like because their overall objective is literally weaponizing your temper. What boggles me is that that's an older generation. And then you go online and you see a newer generation doing it.
You said what bothers you is that it's an older generation, then you go online and see a newer generation doing it?
As in somebody passed it down just to see no matter what the ignorance in generation.
I was asking for clarity. You didn't have to.
Oh, my bad.
Down.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I heard you right. Yeah, and you're right? Because I remember, and this is the things that people don't talk about, that people don't know, right? They think sometimes that we get on here or we be having these conversations and it's just random. I remember working at McDonald's and this guy would always come in here, right? And he would order the same thing. This guy would never put the money in my hand. He would put the money on the counter closest to him. I would have to reach and slide over. And I didn't understand it, right? There was this older white woman named, I think her name was Mary, if I'm not mistaken, who worked there. And he always smiled and was polite with her. And they laughing and joking. And he always put money in her hand and everything. And I didn't realize that, hey, this was just an older gentleman in Florida. And that's just probably still his beliefs. Now, some people might be like, nah, you're overreacting. No, I'm telling you what I witnessed and what I experienced and what I lived, man. And it clicked in my mind like, oh, this is just that generation.
Right.
This is how they do business. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother, she always told me about that. Like, hey, these people from these times, this is how they act and this is how they treat us. Yeah. So we're not speaking of the boogeyman. This is real shit. This is real life things that we deal with as minorities. Fuck that word, as blacks in America.
Right.
Yo, I have a question, and I got a story too. So first, I want y'all to sit on this question for a second.
See, Lee, you already had a little boy sitting on the page while you was riding him, and now you want us to sit on the question. Go ahead, brother.
Do y'all think we should just have like a level of understanding for those people that far back with of that age group? Because they say by 30, you're kind of set in your ways, right? These people are 60, 70. Should we have an understanding? Now, while you sit on that, I'm gonna tell you the story. It's funny that you say that. When I was working at Walmart, and I was a manager over the front end, and I had this Caucasian man come up to me, and he was very mad that the cashier, who was an older black woman, the whole time she rung him up, she never looked at his eyes. She never looked at him. He's like, that's disrespectful, this and that, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, sir, don't worry, I'll take care of it, whatever. So I sat down with her. Now, me being a younger manager, I'm in my early 20s. That's already a weird conversation, because she's older. And I'm like, I forgot what her name. Let's call her Mary. I'm like, Mary, what's going on? I have a few complaints from some customers that you're not looking at the customer, and we got to be positive. And she came right out and said, she's like, she's older. She's like, listen, where I'm from, you don't look white men in their eyes and their face. And as a young 20-year-old black manager, speaking to an older black woman who I respect, like damn near like my grandma, you know what I'm saying? I had to ponder on that and try to figure out a way to go move forward. Cause I'm like, I understand.
Yep.
But here I am as a manager, I have to be like, well, Mary, we got to do this. So now I can relate, I can understand, because my grandmother went through that. And the fact that white people, it just went from, don't you ever look me in my face, and now all of a sudden they're complaining about customer service, not looking at them. But she's
because it's a form of respect. Like
so now I say back to the question, do you think we should have a level of understanding when old motherfuckers are racist as hell? Or what? Or should it just, what do y'all think?
I'm gonna let you go ahead, Michael Joe.
I'm going to say, I'm always going to understand that you're racist. It's not, it doesn't mean that I'm supposed to care. It doesn't mean I'm supposed to have empathy or sympathy. I fully acknowledge and understand you were brought up to be ignorant. You were brought up to realize that I have no value, but it's also my job to let you know I give two fucks. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Right is wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? You understand that that there's a creepy nigga down the street. Don't mean I supposed to care about this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, hell no. You have an understanding, but don't mean I have any inkling of caring about what the fuck, you know what I'm saying, their lifestyle or how they think view is.
Hey, I really respect that.
You know, I actually concur, or I'm not even know if you actually agree. You pose a question. I do think, I'm not saying that we have to have a level of understanding. I think it would behoove us to have a level of understanding, not for their sake, but so we know how to navigate that energy. Because oftentimes we spend too much time fighting old policies and regulations when this is my belief. All them old motherfuckers in Congress, all them old motherfuckers in the Senate, they need to just die. I'm not saying I'm wishing death on them, but when they die, some of them old ways dies with them because of the generational things that they've learned and they're just passing down. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of expect older white people to just be them, especially depends on where they were raised. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the biggest thing. And then it's the same thing. It's just things my grandmother used to say, and I understand why she used to say them because of where she was raised and where she came from. My folks from Jasper, Florida, all the way up to Dover. You know what I'm saying? All the way up north and everything. That's still the South kind of that to them. But just the things that they tell me, how they was raised and how they grew up and their mindset, I get it. They're conditioned a certain way, but it's up to us as well to understand that and navigate it the right way, I think.
Well said. You know, well said, bro. And like I said, it was a weird situation for me, bro. I really had to sit there. I remember sitting in that office with that lady after she said, you know, I was always raised not to look a man in the eyes, bro. I just had to sit there and say, damn, and really be like, how do I move forward with this? And then I was like, I think a white manager would have just been like, well, Mary, you know, you got to look him in the eyes, you know, and not acknowledge that point.
She probably wouldn't even have been comfortable to tell that white manager, hey, this is what I'm accustomed to. You know what I'm saying? Because we still got sundown towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still sundown towns.